Hello dear Sinceres, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia Sincere and I'm an astrologer and holistic coach. If you're new here, we talk all things about astrology, spirituality and holistic. And today we're going to talk about perfections, annual perfections, and what that means. But before I go on, I also want to announce my new upcoming astrology course starting in October, where you will learn how to read your natal chart, how to interpret other people's natal chart, how to do predictions, and learn all things astrology. You can check all the themes and all that we will be studying in the link below. And also, just make sure you sign up below so you get the email with all the details once the course is ready to start. What are annual perfections? So, annual perfections is a way for you to find out what will be the main theme of your life during that year. And it's usually counting from the day of your birth. And so, the day of your birth and the time of your birth matter here. And how you do it is that each house of your natal chart will correspond to a year of your life. So the house of that year of your life will be the main theme that will be happening during your year. And so, for example, we start counting from 0 years old. This would be the first house when you're just months old. And then when you're 1 year old, it will be the second house. And when you're 3 years old, will be the fourth house, and so on and so forth. So when you reach to 12 years old, you will again start from the first house. When you're 24, again the first house, and so on when you're 36, and so on and so on. And so the themes of that house will be the main themes during your year in the year of your birthday. If you check the perfected wheel, we'll have the first house where we'll talk about your physical body, appearance, yourself. The second house perfected year will talk about value, money, possessions, self-worth. The third house perfected year will talk about communication, early schooling, siblings, neighbors. The fourth house perfected year will talk about home, family, ancestral patterns. The fifth house perfected year will talk about romance, play, creativity, expression. The sixth house will talk about health, daily routines, job, pets as well. Seventh house will talk about your intimate relationships, your partner. You can also talk about business partnerships or even open enemies. The eighth house will talk about merging, intimacy, death, transformation. And the ninth house will talk about higher learning, spirituality, media relations. And the 10th house will talk about your career, public status, and your legacy. 11th house will talk about friendships, groups, associations, your community. And the 12th house talks usually about spirituality and endings. So once we've determined what's the perfected house and year that we are in, the next step is to then find the perfected ruler, which is the planet that rules the sign of the house that you are in. And the ruler will be the ruler of the sign that is in the house that is perfected. For that, I am going to put on my side, so I can show you an example. I'm going to put on my side a chart. Let's imagine that this person is 26 years old. And if they are 26 years old, then their perfected year is going to be the third house. When we look at the third house, we see that the sign that is there is Sagittarius. The ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. And to find where the perfected year is, which is Jupiter, because he is the ruler of Sagittarius, we're going to have to find where Jupiter is located in this chart, which will be the fourth house, indicating by the symbol that looks like a 4. So in the fourth house, we'll see that the perfected ruler is there, and by being there, it will also activate that house. It's more like a secondary activation, but that house will also have its themes very important for us this year, for this person. So basically what will be the main theme for this person who's doing 26 years old and has a third house perfected year is siblings, neighbors, things connected to communication, to early learnings, or to like a learning that is not so much advanced or so much like a high degree, but kind of more skill-wise learning or early schooling learning. They could also be dealing with things connected to selling, to commerce, to short distance travelings. And also, we're going to have the fourth house activation. So, that fourth house activation will talk about home, family, nation, farming, for example, and things connected to the home environment, like, for example, decoration or moving a house or real estate. And how we can then mix these two houses together is, for example, let's say that this person all of a sudden decides to remodel her house, and by doing so invites her siblings to do so, to participate in the remodelation of the house. Maybe it's an old house, a house that belonged to her parents, to their parents, to grandparents, and they all own the house, and somehow they all work together to kind of remodel the house. And maybe they decide to sell the house to the neighbors. You can see here already, so neighbors is third house, and siblings also third house, but the house which belonged to the parents is all fourth house. Or even, for example, do a car boat sale of the stuff that they had at home. It used to belong to their parents and they don't need it anymore, and they go and do this in their neighborhood, for example. So you can see examples of combinations, how these two teams can come about to this person's life. So we also then need to check what are the planets inside the perfected house year. So those planets will be like secondary time lords that will also have an impact on that person's life and year of perfection. And so we see here in this example, we see that we have Uranus. And so this means that Uranus will have an impact on this person's years. So looking at another example, so you can see more what happens when you have like many planets inside a perfected house, I'm going to use this example. And let's say that you're 37 years old and you have a second house perfected year. Second house perfected year, this will fall into this person's Capricorn sign. And so, what does it mean to have a second house perfected year? Which teams are we going to be dealing with? Is this person going to be dealing with? So, things connected to possessions, to money, to finances, to investments, to self worth, to values that they have. So, these will be main themes that they will be dealing with throughout the year. Then we follow the next step, which is to find what is the ruler, the perfected ruler of that house. Capricorn has Saturn as a ruler. So then we have to see where Saturn is positioned for this chart. And in this chart, the ruler, Saturn, is in the fourth house. So that will mean that the financial gains, investments that will need to be worn with effort, discipline, structure, because Saturn gives that quality, and Capricorn is very much about structure, very much about ambition, very much about effort and discipline. But as Saturn is in the fourth house, this house will also be activated. And fourth house, as we've seen before, what does it mean? It means family. It means home environment. It means things connected to our family, to our nation, to farming. So what this could mean is that the financial gains for this person could be coming with activities related to home or family. The home environment, the family, is going to be involved in the way that this person approaches that second house perfected year. So the fourth house is going to be involved in how this person tackles the second house perfected year. The next technique that we can also look at for perfections is to look at the planets inside that person's house. We have many planets in the second house. And what these planets are going to do in the second house, they are going to color very much how this person's year is going to be. first we start counting the planets from the ones that have the least degrees to the ones that have the higher degrees. When we have that many planets in a year, that means that that year for us is going to be a very busy year, sometimes not the easiest of years, with lots of ups and downs. How we do this is that we divide our year into the parts that include the planets in the perfected house and include also the ruler of that perfected house. So in this case, we have 4 planets inside the second house, but we also going to count the perfected ruler of that house. That way, we're going to divide our year into 5 parts, which gives about 2.4 months. By doing this, we're going to start looking at the sun. Sun in astrology is considered a planet, not a star. And we count its influence as well. So the sun in Capricorn on a second house perfected year could mean that, for example, this person is going to have some gains through social exposure, through their personality, through their status. Maybe they have some kind of social presence. But sun in the second house also could mean that this person could also have some expenditure in trying to look socially appealing and socially good and socially attractive. Next up, we have Neptune. So Neptune is not the best planet to have in the second house. Some astrologers say it can bring a lot of abundance, but some astrologers are of the opinion that Neptune can also bring great losses. The problem with Neptune is that Neptune is sometimes a very delusional planet, so it can give us illusions of things. So this person perhaps might decide to do some investments on some kind of new enterprises and be thinking that they are doing a great thing, but kind of not seeing things clearly, and actually instead of making gains with those investments, they end up having lots of losses. Then the next up, we have Mars. So Mars in the second house makes the person be very active and proactive and take initiative to make money, to get money, to create new ways of making money, be very active, very dynamic. But also Mars is a very impulsive planet, is a planet that doesn't think much before it acts. And so this person could have some impulsivity acts, not only to make money, but also to spend money. So they may lose and gain money in an impulsive way. Hi dear sinceres. So I realized after I finished the video that I forgot to speak about Uranus, that in the example that I was just showing is the last planet of the 4 that are in the second perfected house in Capricorn, in the example that I've just been showing. So Uranus, as I explained before in the other example, is an unpredictable planet, and so in the second house for this person perfected year, it will also bring them a bit of unexpected gains and unexpected losses. It's an erratic planet, it's a planet of surprises. You never know what you're going to get with it, so it can go up or down, and it can bring sudden things, so sudden gains or sudden losses. Also, I didn't mention that having all these planets in Capricorn is a sign very connected to social status, so authority, to job and work. And so having these planets in the sign may be a boost in some way or another, not just to the finances, but also that the financial is gained through a lot of work, through professional boosts. For example, the sun in Capricorn could indicate that this person might have some gains by becoming someone of importance in his work or in his job. Or having Mars also could make this person feel more towards working, towards making effort, towards being more ambitious and achieving their ambitions, because Mars in Capricorn is exalted. So just to give you a little bit of a few things that I noticed after filming that I didn't mention, and I wish I did. But as I don't want to make this video very long, I'm going to stop now and continue. And then the next up will be then Saturn. Saturn will be the last planet ruling the 2.4 months left of that year. Saturn having has Saturn in a second house, in this case is in a fourth, but Saturn influencing a perfected second house here would make this person probably more frugal, more simple, more structured, not wanting to spend so much. And with this, I've given you also some tips of how planets work on the second house. In case you have any of these planets, how they are functioning for you in ways that you can make money or even that can show you how you can lose money. So I will be doing more videos on this in the future. So if you want to learn more about how you can find out ways to make more money for astrology, just make sure to subscribe below to my channel so you don't miss out on any of these. So the other thing I want to talk to you about is an advanced technique for those of you who are a little bit more advanced and have some knowledge in astrology, which is about sects, which we also use for perfections. Hello dear sinceres. The sex explanation continues, but not on this video. As it was a very large section in the video and the video itself was getting way too big and way too long, I decided to put the large complete video on my Patreon page. So if you would like to watch the full video with the sex explanation part, you can go to my Patreon page link in the description below and access it by becoming a member. I will also be adding more membership material in the future, and you will also be helping me bring more videos and content for you. Thank you, and I hope to see you there. And then the next stage for annual perfections would be to then look at your solar return chart. This is a much more complex and much more advanced technique, which I will be teaching you on my upcoming course. If you want to learn more about perfections and more astrology and more how to read your solar return chart together with perfection, make sure you click on the link below and sign up for my upcoming course in October, so you receive an email with all the details once it's ready to go. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and learned a little bit about perfections today. I hope my explanation was clear for you. And also, if you liked it, please also press like and leave me a comment below. And make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so yet, so you can help me bring more and more videos to you. Right now, I'm only able to bring you so much, and I have so much more I would love to bring you. So make sure you check out the subscribe box below and that you share it with your friends. I hope to see you next time. May the cosmos and the stars be with you. Bye.